as president, I can report to the nation, aggression is defeated, the war is over.
For George Herbert Walker Bush, victory in the first Gulf War was his finest hour. Never a political firebrand, Bush was often described as having the best resume in America. His strengths, loyalty, energy, a gregarious personality, and most of all, experience.
What it all comes down to, after all the shouting and the tears, is the man at the desk. And who should sit at that desk? My friends, I am that man.
But George Bush was also very private and believed, even after decades in public life, that he was misunderstood.
I was never very clear in letting people know what my heartbeat is.
Born in 1924, Bush was raised in Greenwich, Connecticut. His father, Prescott Bush, was a U.S. Senator, and from a young age, George Bush was a natural leader. At Phillips Andover, the boy known as Poppy was class president. At Yale, Phi Beta Kappa, and throughout, captain of almost every team he played on. At 18, he defied his parents by enlisting in the Navy and became its youngest pilot. 2 years later, he was shot down over the Pacific.
I'll never forget it. The plane, the fumes and the smoke, and it was terrifying.
Ambitious and impatient, Bush married Barbara Pierce in 1945, finished Yale in just 3 years, and moved to Texas to seek his fortune in the oil business. They had 6 children, and by 1964, Bush could afford to turn to politics.
George Bush, the Republican opportunity.
Over the next 20 years, George Bush would become one of the most experienced public servants in America. After 2 terms in Congress, he became ambassador to the United Nations, chairman of the Republican National Committee, envoy to China, and finally, his favorite job, director of the CIA. All of which prepared him for this.
I am absolutely convinced I will be your next president. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
But Bush couldn't compete with the charismatic Ronald Reagan, instead serving as his vice president for 8 years. In 1988, it was his turn.
I, George Herbert Walker Bush,
And Bush called for greater civility.
to make kinder the face of the nation and gentler the face of the world.
His proudest accomplishments, the Clean Air Act and the Americans with Disabilities Act.
How are you, sir?
And overseas, he was credited with a steady hand as the Cold War ended. Then, in 1990, Bush faced a crisis when the Iraqi army invaded Kuwait.
A line has been drawn in the sand.
Using his trademark personal diplomacy, Bush built an unprecedented coalition. After 5 weeks of high-tech bombing, the ground war was over in just 100 hours. And Bush reached an incredible 91% approval rating. He was the most popular president in U.S. history.
We want work!
But that high approval rating soon collapsed as an economic recession forced Bush to break his most famous campaign pledge.
Read my lips.
And a little-known governor from Arkansas issued a challenge.
Don't read my lips, read my plan.
It was a bitter defeat.
20 years ago, when you lost, was it a hard feeling?
Terrible feeling, awful feeling. And I really wanted to win and worked hard.
Bush threw himself into life after the White House, raising more than $100 million for cancer research, literacy.
Just because you're 90, that doesn't mean you still can't get a thrill out of stuff.
And he was not above using a spectacle to help charity, even at 90 years old.
Why does he keep jumping out of perfectly good airplanes?
Politically, Bush tried to keep a low profile, but campaigned for sons Jeb and George W., and behind the scenes gave advice.
I talked to him all the time.
And in 2000, he watched his son become the 43rd president.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
As he survived his wife of 73 years, Barbara, and witnessed an outpouring of affection for her. Theirs was the longest marriage in presidential history. A private man who lived a very public life, praised by his fellow presidents for his leadership and grace, as President Obama so aptly said as he honored Bush with the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
His humility and his decency reflects the very best of the American spirit. Those of you who know him, this is a gentleman.
But Bush himself always maintained his proudest accomplishment was that his children still came home, that his life was about faith, family, and friends, and an understated political legacy.
I'm sure I could have done a lot of things better, but it's been a fulfilling time in my life and a lot of experiences, including being President of the United States.
Savannah Guthrie, NBC News.